everyone. I hope you can hear me properly. We have 4 members up to now. Anyhow, let's start. Well, my name is Lakmal Madhusanka and I'll be your teacher and I'm going to explain you about our IELTS Speaking Aid 1-month course and related information. And also yesterday, I think you know that yesterday there were lot of questions released which related to IELTS speaking September to December. Maybe you may already aware about that one, maybe not. But anyhow, I plan to discuss little bit about some of these questions. So I have applied one option. I just need to know whether should I explain in English or maybe in Sinhala. If there is anyone who require to explain me in Sinhala as well, then you can let me know with that option. Or maybe you can tell me directly. Up to now, one answer received. I should continue in English. Who else? Who required me to explain in Sinhala as well? Anyone? Otherwise, we can continuously go with English. And you have raise hand option as well. Okay, let me check. Okay, English, 2%. Okay, good. Is there anyone for Sinhala? 2 out of 9. What about other members? Shall I continue in English? Okay, it seems no one required me to explain in Sinhala, but anyhow, if you need me to explain in Sinhala, let me know in the meantime. Okay, I will go with English then. Good. Okay, 4 members are saying that I should go with English. I'm really happy that. Okay, let's start then. It's 9 o'clock. I don't need eat out your time. We can finish this one as soon as possible if we can start straightforward at the same time as I promised you. Good. I will stop this poll option. Okay. Now let's start. Again, I will tell you, my name is Lakmal Madhusanka and I am the teacher. You can ask anything directly from me while I'm conducting the session, as well as afterward also you can reach me via WhatsApp. Okay, maybe a call, maybe a message. It's up to you. Then let's see what kind of things is there in IELTS speaking test and what kind of things is there in this course. Before going forward, is there anyone who already have faced the exam and couldn't able to get your required band score for your speaking? Anyone? You can maybe put me a message. The message will receive me directly. Anyone? You can share me one-to-one message as well. I will put one hi also. Then you can understand what is the option if they have anyone who is not familiar with the Zoom. Okay, let me know. Now this chat is open. You can ask anything. Let's go forward. Okay, this is the official introduction of IELTS Speaking 8 course, September month. Now October month is still ongoing and August batch already finished. That's why we are starting September batch. I believe most of you here because you required to know about the course as well as you require to get your required bands going your next attempt of IELTS exam. Okay. Okay, one person is there. Good. It's not good, but I am saying good because you will understand what kind of things you can do to get your required band score. In today's session, we will discuss about these things as well. Let's go forward. Before going forward, we have to understand the exam structure. Most of you may be familiar with this structure, I believe, because I believe most of you already have at least refer some YouTube channels, maybe some of you may have participated into some other classes, maybe. Anyhow, most of you may have some general idea about what speaking exam is. Anyhow, for the betterment of everyone, I will explain. In IELTS exam, in speaking test, they have main three part 1, part 2, and part 3. This is very basic. Part 1, introduction and interview, or maybe generally we can say examiners will ask some general questions or maybe familiar questions to ourselves. As example, regarding our hobby, regarding our job role, maybe our studies, our hometown, our favorite foods, or maybe some buildings in our city, our transportation methods. Likewise, some familiar questions. Very easy to give answers if we can familiar with this structure and patterns. And in part 1, there will have 4 to 5 minutes of questionnaire, and naturally, generally there will have 6 to 8 number of questions generally. Okay, it may vary with the speed or as well as with the time you consume for each question. So examiner also have to manage time as well. In part 2, individual long term, as you know, it's called cue card section. In part 1, examiners will ask questions verbally. In cue card, you will get the topic question in a paper, as well as you will get one separate paper, also one pencil, and examiner will give you 1 minute of preparation time as well. By considering that preparation time and speaking time altogether, they have 3 minutes for part 2. So maybe you may know what you have to do in this preparation time, maybe not, but that is the crucial for this cue card or maybe part 2. Again, part 3. Part 3, again, examiner will ask verbally. We are calling this one two-ways discussion, just like one interview type of discussion in part 3. Examiner will ask some questions from you. Based on the answer you will give, examiner asks some cross questions or maybe some another questions. It's like continuously examiner asking questions based on your answers. But in part 3, examiners will not ask like in part 1, same timing, 4 to 5 minutes, but is still less number of questions, not like part 1. It means we can give some general as well as lengthy answers than in part 1. Again, in part 1, examiners will ask some familiar questions to ourselves. In part 3, most of the time examiners will ask some general questions about the society, about all the generation, younger generation, children's, about people, likewise. But you have to understand one thing. If you refer number of questions or maybe some sample questions in IELTS speaking test, we can understand 80% of part 1 questions are about ourselves or maybe something related to ourselves. But 20% of part 1 questions also they are just like in part 3. Some general questions, abstract questions. Same way in part 3, 80% of part 3 questions are about general society or maybe general abstract questions. But 20% of part 3 questions also they are related to our part ourselves, just like in part 1. So we have to clearly understand what kind of questions we will get in part 1 or part 3. If we miss, definitely we will give some off topic answer. Ultimately, we will lose some marks under our fluency and coherence. I think this is that much of simple and you can understand. Okay, some messages have received in the meantime. Good. If you need to ask anything from me, they have this phrase hand option. I have put in the bar. You can see that in your bar, most probably, I think so. Then you can raise your hand. I will give you time for asking your questions, or maybe you can put in the message chat box. In the meantime, I will give answers for your questions as well. Okay, this is the simply structure of IELTS speaking test. I'm not going to explain in Sinhala as nobody requested that, but in the meantime, some other members also joined to the session. Is there anyone who required me to explain same thing in Sinhala? ඒකත් මම සිංහලෙන් අහන්න. මම සිංහලෙන් explain කරන්න ඕනි. කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවද? ඉන්නවනම් message එකක් දාන්න. මම සිංහලෙන් කියන්නම්. නැත්නම් මම English වලින් continue කරනවා. Fine. It seems everyone can understand. This is very basic. If you can't understand at least what I'm saying right now, it means you have to practice further for phase 2 IELTS exam. So let's go with next slide. Now we are going to talk about this course, IELTS Speaking Aid. Maybe you may have heard about this one from advertisement, maybe from YouTube, maybe Facebook, maybe from some past members of the class, whichever you may have any of these methods to get to know about this course. But the problem is why we are teaching only speaking, why we are not teaching writing, reading, listening. Here is the answer. It's very rare to find a dedicated IELTS speaking class in Sri Lanka. Okay. Few years ago, there wasn't actually any of speaking dedicated class. Now they have few classes. I have seen also. Now the trend is there. They have some speaking classes. I have seen, but earlier there wasn't at least any other class whenever we started this one years ago. Even though now they have options, we will see what kind of benefits are there in this IELTS speaking class. So it's really rare to find one place that you can engage in English medium, because most of the classes they are conducting in Sinhala medium, not in English, as well as it's really rare for you to continuously practice in English in terms of IELTS exam. As example, practicing in mock test in other classes which conduct in all four components, there will have some rare chances. I am not saying they don't have chances. The teachers also will give some chances, but not continuously. Without continuous practice, do you believe that you can gain your fluency? Today you will learn something about your writing tasks. Next day you will learn something about your reading tasks. Then again, listening tasks. Then again, next coming to your speaking practice or maybe mock test. Again, you will consume few days or maybe few weeks for all other three components. Then again, one mock test. Maybe throughout 1 month or 2 months of class, you will get 2 to 3 number of mock test. Do you believe that it will be sufficient enough for you to gain your fluency and at least get some idea about what kind of practice you should have, or maybe what kind of tricks you can apply for get your required band score, or maybe in enhancing your fluency? No, it's not good enough. That's why in dedicated speaking class like this, you will continuously engage in IELTS type of questions as well as mock test, or maybe generally speak in English just to be fluent, as well as to understand patterns, tips, and everything related to IELTS speaking test. Speaking requires continuous practice, same thing. Most of the students are struggling with speaking. This is actually one of main problem. If you see some statistics from IELTS website, you can see they have some Excel sheets in IELTS official website. You can see some past years statistics. You can see most of Sri Lankan students have struggled with writing and speaking, mostly speaking. Writing also somewhat hard because you have to understand that patterns also. It's still writing, reading, listening, it's like some written or maybe grammar structure, grammatical exam, but speaking, it's quite different. You have to have that fluency. You have to be able to speak in front of someone else. You have to have that courage also to speak, because it's not some writing tasks. That practice is required. In Sri Lanka, unfortunately, we are not speak in English in our daily basis life. You may be a nurse, maybe doing some other work, but sometimes in private sector, in some office, maybe you may use English, but not continuously. There have some chances for you to speak in English if it is in private sector, but in government sector, we are not using English at all. So generally in Sri Lanka, we don't have that platform to speak in English in our daily basis life or maybe in our professional life. They don't have any place to speak in English. If you participate into some other class which conduct in 4 sections, there also most of the teachers will explain you things in Sinhala, because maybe in writing tasks they require to explain in Sinhala for you to easy understand or maybe proper understanding, whichever it is. But as this is one speaking class, dedicated speaking class, we will continue this class in English. But now, don't worry if I in kind of basic level, I will explain Sinhala. Whenever in some badges, whenever I have some students who require me to explain in Sinhala, I will explain. But if all of the students can understand which I am saying in English, we will continue in English. That's how this class will going on. At the very beginning of the class or maybe the first day of class, I will evaluate your level just to understand whether which level you are in. And next one, you will miss speaking common classes, the same thing which I mentioned. Common classes means classes which teach or maybe cover other components as well. Now, I think you may have some rough idea what's the different or maybe what's the benefit of participate into a speaking class like this. Now, you have that idea. With that idea, let's go with next slide. Still, if you have any questions, you can ask from me. I didn't receive any message from you, any of you. It means I believe that you can understand what I am saying about our class. Okay. What will you learn? Okay, this is also one important question. Just assuming you are here in this presentation today. Afterward, this introduction session, you will not participate into this class. I know that they have around 40 number of members. There may have some teachers as well, because in this month advertisement, I seen some other teachers also have asked about course details, maybe get to know about this class. Maybe anyhow, there may have some teachers, there may have some students will not follow this class. It is natural, because everyone not fitting into every classes. They should feel that to participate in. So assuming that you will not participate into this class after this introduction session, then you will, maybe you will go with some other class, maybe you will think about doing self studies. Now I am going to give some comparison, what will happen, or maybe what kind of things you can do in self studies. I'm not talking about other classes, because there may have some other classes which teach very well. I'm not saying this is the only class that you can learn. There may have some other classes. I am telling about self studies as well as this class. Then we can do some better comparison. Assuming you are doing self studies, then you will not have clear structure or maybe syllabus to practice. You may use some YouTube videos, maybe some YouTube channels that teaching something, but that is not some clear structure. Some YouTube channel explain about idiom, some YouTube channel may explain about part one question. So you may practice part one today, then again idiom, then after some grammatical component without any clear structure. You will touch here and there just to do self studies. But in our class, they have proper syllabus. Now, some of you may raise that question. Is there any syllabus for speaking class? You may ask. Yes, they have a syllabus. Because in IELTS exam, they have clear structure, or maybe clear instruction that we require to follow for gaining our required band score. I will show you in coming slides. In that way, we can generate, or maybe we have generated good syllabus that you can cover, that you can follow. Then with that syllabus, methodically, you will learn from first day to the last day methodically. Otherwise, if I'm trying to explain you something which I require to explain at end of the class, just like pronunciation features as one example. Maybe some of you may have heard about pronunciation features, maybe not. So if I'm going to try, or maybe if I'm going to cover that pronunciation features at the very first day of class, it may feels that really hard to understand. Likewise, we have to go with some syllabus. If touching here and there, trying to learn something, you will learn, but without any proper guidance or maybe proper structure. Important thing is you may lose some important or maybe main parts that you require to cover, because without a structure, you are trying to get something here and there, then you may lose some main important parts as well. In our class, they have the structure syllabus that you can follow with me. Second thing, IELTS speaking patterns, exam tips, and tools. Okay. Now assuming you are doing self-studies. Whenever you will do self-study, you may have a lot of questions. Just like this, I will give some live example. Whenever you will face to a cue card, you may have several questions, several problems. One is you may don't have good idea what to say. Whenever you get one cue card, you don't know what to say. It's you are shocking. Ideas is not coming to you, or maybe you have a lot of ideas to explain. You don't know which one to choose. Again, confusion. Or maybe you have ideas, you can gather ideas. When now you're explaining, you don't have vocabulary to explain. You are struggling. Sometimes you don't have ideas just to cover 2 minutes. Within 1 minute or maybe 1 minute 15 seconds, you will end up your cue card answer. That kind of problems may, or maybe questions may occur whenever you will do self studies. Then you have to find out answers by your own. It will be really hard, because if you know answers, it means you can apply. Here in our class, we will learn with some patterns, practical tips. These tips means practical tips for practical problems. Whenever you will face to exam, even though if you feel some hesitation, or maybe if you have some less confident to face to the examiner, for that kind of problems also, they have tips to apply. For part 1, part 2, part 3, they have separate structures or maybe tools that you can apply. If they have any past student of my class, maybe they may prove what I am saying. These tool actually, some tools not owned by me, some tools they are which readily available in internet. Maybe if you dig further, you will understand, you will find out that tools as well. But in our IELTS speaking net class, there have tools that we have developed that you can't find out in internet or wherever, that is not available to public. So by using that tool, simply you can generate good answers. I'm not telling that you have to memorize all of answers. Memorizing answers will not work properly in IELTS exam. So you cannot memorize or maybe made answers before facing to exam and memorizing, explaining. It's like reading out. Reading out will not give you good marks in your real exam. So we have to have some patterns, tools and tips just to generate good answer. Actually, patterns are there in part 1 and part 3, even part 2 as well. Once after you understand these patterns properly, whichever question you will get in real exam. As example, yesterday they released newer questions to questions of September version. I think some of you may be aware about that one. So there may have that kind of newer question in your real exam that you never have practiced, that you never have even seen. There is a possibility. Then what will you do? You have practiced on some other questions, but you have got some question that you never have even heard. If you know the pattern that you can apply, then simply you can give better answer even you never have heard about that question. That doesn't matter. Every questions in IELTS speaking test have patterns to understand. It's within some patterns. So once after you understand patterns, you are good to go with. So we will learn all these patterns, tips and tools in our class, which you cannot do it whenever you are doing self-studies. Next one, continuous mock test and speaking practice. I will explain what kind of practices will be there in this class. Generally, as I mentioned earlier, if you need to be fluent enough, or maybe if you need to get your required band score, you have to have continuous practice, specifically mock test practice. That is compulsory. So in our class, there will have continuous mock test practice. As I mentioned, there is syllabus. So I have made that syllabus just to make your fluency as well. So they have lot of mock test practices within this 1 month, including that other tips, tools, and patterns, also some theory parts as well. Practice as a group. So this is one important thing. Whenever you are doing self-studies, it's really demotivating, or maybe you really boring to do self-studies because this is one is speaking. You cannot do speaking your own. You can do mirror practices and all. That kind of methods are there. But if you can speak with someone else, that is more proactive. So you will practice with me a lot of practices. Apart from that, as a group, I will assign you some other practices as well. So group practices also will be there that you can do in your free time. As a group, there may have some other members who will be free at the same time of you. Then both of you can practice together as a group, or maybe as group members, as same students. So I will teach you how to do group practices without my involvement. That also there that you can apply for your self studies as well. Time management. Time management also really important, especially when it's coming to a cue card. Is there anyone who already have faced to the exam and also that couldn't able to cover your 2 minutes, have ended up before 2 minutes? Can you share some messages if there is anyone? Or maybe whenever you do some sales practices, or maybe whenever you practice IELTS cue cards, if is there any problem like this? Couldn't you able to cover your 2 minutes? Or maybe couldn't you able to arrange some good ideas just to cover 2 minutes? Anyone? Hmm. Okay. Yes, that kind of members are there. So that is one problem. Whenever you don't know how to manage your timing in part 1, cue card, and part 3, you will lose some marks because if you try to explain in lengthy way in part 1, examiner will not let you do that. Examiner will jump with next question. Or maybe if you try to give some yes no type of simple answer in part 1, again you will lose your mark because there is nothing to evaluate, right? We should say something for examiner to evaluate. So they have some time management skill, or maybe they should have some time management skill. To gain that time management skill, you should practice with some proper guidance. So I will guide you to manage your timing as well in part 1 cue card and part 3, especially part 1 and cue card. Part 3 you can explain properly because they have time, but when it's coming to cue card and part 1, most of the students are struggling to manage their timing, especially cue card. Some students cannot cover their every answer or maybe all of the idea within 2 minutes. Whenever they are reaching to 2 minutes, they may be in the introduction or maybe the first idea. It means not coherent answer. Other type of students are there. Whenever they are reaching 2 minutes, they don't have anything to explain for 2 minutes. They will end up in between. So that kind of problems are there for time management. We will learn keywording and more. Keywording again. Is there anyone who know what's called by keywording? Maybe you never have heard about this one. Anyone? I really like if somebody is there who can understand what's called by keywording. You can put on message. It's totally fine. Maybe you can explain in verbally, maybe put on message. What's called by keywording? If you have do some self practices, or maybe if you have participated into some classes, you may heard about this one. Or maybe note making. Have heard about note making. Okay. It seems no one. Fine. Without knowing keywording, you cannot give proper answers for your cue card. Keywording is there for cue card. At the starting of today's this introduction session, I explain you when it's coming to your cue card, they have 1 minute of preparation time. I think you remember. So within this preparation time, what kind of things can we do? Examiner will provide us a pencil and paper, separate paper that we can use for drafting our answer. That drafting, that's called keywording. How to draft our entire answer properly, just to cover 2 minutes. How we can arrange good enough of ideas, and what's called by high level of keywording. If you can do keywording properly, even though if you're not much fluent enough, you can cover 2 minutes coherently. You may lose some marks for fluency part, but as the coherent part is there, you will gain the same mark. That kind of tricks are there to apply. You may confuse what I am saying, but you will understand later on. Let's go with next one. Who should enroll in this course? Okay, because they have few categories. One is, most common one is, who already have to face the exam and couldn't able to achieve their required band score for speaking. That is the most common one which I can see. Second type of students are there who never have even faced to the exam, who is really beginner for IELTS journey. They may be fluent in English, but they are really beginner for IELTS journey. And if you may be some fluent speaker, maybe in general life you are too much fluent, might be possible. So if you have fluency, it means it's a plus point. But having fluency will not be sufficient for gaining your required band score. Fluency is just one requirement, one main requirement. Okay, it is. I can say it's the main requirement, but there have some other components to understand as well. I have seen in my experience, or maybe I have seen in the past, some fluent students were there who have faced the exam but couldn't able to achieve more than 6 because of they didn't aware about the exam structure. They know how to speak, but whenever they are getting some questions, they are struggling to give answers because of lack of idea, as well as they don't know what kind of answer should be there for getting required band score or maybe getting higher marks. So fluency is really good, but still you have to understand exam structure. Okay. If you already have booked your exam, that's also fine. If you have 1 month of gap, which means starting by 16th, if you have enough time, you can join with this class. But if you have less than 1 month, you can join with our individual class option as well. I will explain later on. Okay. I'm not going to explain this one, but definitely you have to refer this on your own. If you will participate into the class, very first day, we will thoroughly discuss about this one, because this is the backbone of IELTS speaking test. Without knowing this one, you don't know what kind of level you should maintain. Just assuming, is there anyone who required to get band score 7? Any nurses? You can put one message quickly in the chat box. Any nurses? If there's anyone, I'm going to explain a little bit about your required band score. Anyone? No nurses then. Fine. Ah. Okay. There is one. At least one. Okay. Then I will explain. So as a nurse, your requirement is band score 7, right? Now, before today, or maybe now I'm going to explain a little further, but did you know that what kind of level should maintain for getting your required band score, or maybe get band score 7? Did you know that? Just put one message. You know that you require to get band score 7, but did you know that what kind of level you should maintain for getting band score 7? Okay, you can put one message quickly. Fine. I will explain. So if you refer this chart properly, this is called speaking band descriptor. You can find this one from IELTS official. Uh, okay, one message. Okay, okay. You have got 6.5. Really good. You have nearly touched your required band score. Good. Then what I was in saying, in IELTS exam, IELTS website, Cambridge website, IDP website, British Council website, you can find out this one if you refer properly. Like if you search like IELTS speaking band descriptor, this is part of this entire sheet or maybe entire document. They have from band score 0 to band score 9. They have clearly explained that what kind of level you should maintain. In our class, we are studying or maybe we will learn everything based on this structure, because if your requirement is band score 7, if you know what kind of level you should maintain for getting band score 7, then easily you can get your required band score, or maybe easily you can align your level into required band score. There have things to understand and there have things to practice. Everything will be there in the class. And also, assuming you are a caregiver or maybe you are trying to migrate as caregiver, so your requirement is not band score 7, maybe 5.5, maybe 6, likewise. So you don't need to do that much of things, or maybe you don't need to put your extra effort for uh, be fluent or maybe gain your required band score as band score 7. You have to do some little or maybe some less work. But if you still need to get band score 7 or higher band score as much as you can do lot of work or you can practice a lot. But if you are a person who really busy in your day-to-day life and if you don't have much time for consuming for these practices, and still if your requirement is low, really low band score, then I can teach you what kind of level you should maintain. That is not the same level of nurses, right? So you don't need to work too much of hard, but still they have things to do. Likewise, the things I will teach you will based on your requirement. At the very first day with the introduction, I will ask your requirement, then you will disclose your requirement. My requirement is band score 5.5, my requirement is 6, 6.5, 7. Still maybe some students are there required for 7.5, even 8, maybe for study migration in some cases. So once after you disclose your requirement, I will craft your individual assessment or maybe individual syllabus. There will be a group class, but still I will assist you individually. That's why I will incorporate only maximum 15 number of students for a batch. Only 50 number, maximum 50 number of students. That is the limit. So there will less than 50 or maybe 15, but there will not have more than 15. 15 is the cutoff mark or maybe cutoff number that I can manage within this class with individual attention. That is again one thing that you cannot gain in other classes, individual attention. If you will participate into some classes which have more than 15 or maybe 20, 25 or maybe 50, even 100 members, they have classes like that. They have classes which having lot of students. That is good for listening, reading, or maybe writing tasks. I think it will be fine for that kind of components. But for speaking, if the teacher don't know your current level, if teacher cannot assist you individually, then if teacher cannot evaluate your individual mock test, then they don't have any point for participate into that kind of class. It's better to do self-studies, right? Rather than that. But here, whenever we will do mock test, after each mock test, I will evaluate your individual mock test or maybe each and every mock test in the same session. What we will do mock test continuously for all of the students. Once after finish the very last student, we will play back the mock test in the same class. While playing back, we will evaluate. Evaluation also quite unique in our class. You will understand that one in our class. You will understand individually what kind of mark you have get for this press marking criteria, fluency and coherent, what kind of mark you have gained for your vocabulary level, what kind of mark is there for grammatical range, and what kind of mark for your pronunciation. Even in real exam, you cannot see that one. In real exam also, you will get to a speaking band score 6.5. Now, just before one student disclose her previous band score as 6.5, you already know that your previous band score is 6.5. Requirement is band score 7. But the thing you don't know is why you have got band score 6.5 instead of 7. In which component have you reduced your marks? Whether have you reduced marks under fluency and coherence, or maybe your vocabulary level, or maybe if they have some grammatical mistakes, or maybe some pronunciation issues, you don't know that. Until now, you don't know. So in our class, clearly you can understand that because I will explain you individually. Then assuming your requirement is band score 7, but you are getting continuously band score 6, then I will tell you why you are getting 6 instead of 7. Whether you have to do or maybe work on your fluency, or maybe you have whether you have to apply some more vocabulary, or maybe there may have some grammar mistakes. Then with solutions, I will explain you individually and I will give you homeworks individually based on your problems. That's how this class will going on. Any question? I have seen one student unmute your microphone in the middle I am explaining. Any questions? Okay, I will give you a chance for asking questions even in Sinhala, it's fine. Now I'm not going to explain band descriptor, it will take some time. Now this is the structure. This is what we have to follow generally, but this is the basic, or maybe this is the main framework. Apart from this, what is the main quality of your speech should have? My question. That main quality actually not mentioned inside of this band descriptor. We'll see. Is there anyone who have at least some idea what will be your main requirement, or maybe what should be the main quality of your speaking? Without this main quality, even though if you covered all these 4 sections properly with high level of grammar structure, with high level of vocabulary, with really with maybe good fluency, and without doing any pronunciation issues, even though if you will not maintain this main quality, you will not get any mark. You will actually get some average mark. This is the main quality. Your proficiency in real life communication situations. Simply, it means natural speech. You should have natural speech. If you will explain things without natural speech, just assuming you have prepared for one cue card answer, which means you have write down model answer, or maybe you have got one model answer from someone else. In some classes I have seen, they are sharing model answers. They are asking you to look at the model answer, memorize the model answer likewise. But just assuming you will do that. Okay, now this is one live example. You will read out, or maybe you have memorized one model answer. Anyhow, you have got the same exact topic question in your real exam. Now you may feel really happy because you have one model answer, memorized model answer, just to cover 2 minutes very fluently with high level of vocabulary, high level of grammar structure, and you have all the details that you required for cover 2 minutes, and you will perform very well. You will explain very well. Do you think examiner will give you marks? No, because examiners can easily understand whether you are delivering one memorized answer, or maybe you are generating one natural speech. Memorized answer feels like you are reading out one paper. It's like read out. You are reading out your memory. That accent or maybe that sound quite differ from natural answer. Assuming you have managed anyhow. you are a good actor, you have managed anyhow, just not to let examiner know that you are delivering one memorized answer. Fine, that kind of ability might be there. Then again, you will face another problem. In part 3, examiners will ask some familiar questions to your cue card, but that questions we cannot predict. Examiners will ask some cross questions based on your answers. Then you have given very good fluent answer for your cue card in part 3. Same exact type of questions or maybe same idea is there in part 3, but you are struggling because you never have been prepared for part 3. We cannot do that, right? We cannot memorize part 3 answers. Then examiner exactly spot out that you have given memorized answer for the cue card. Then again, you will lose marks. That's why we cannot do memorize answers in real exam. Instead of that, we can be prepared with type of questions. We can be prepared with the patterns. We can be prepared with tools and tips which we can apply whichever question we will get. Then once after we have all the equipment, all the tools we require to apply for any Q card topic in real exam, then it will be natural answer. Natural answer with generating using that tools, high level of tools. Accurate answer. So you will be accurate, you will be fluent, you will be coherent, you will have good vocabulary, you will have good grammar structure, and your pronunciation will be really natural. So once after you manage all these things into that level, you will get your required, or maybe you will get your dream band score, or maybe higher than your required band score in real exam. That's the magic will work. That's the way. Okay. So I explained a little further about band descriptor. You have to do some self-studies about band descriptor if you will not join to the class. Now, what will you get? Okay, there have several things that you will get as some benefits as you are joining to the class. First thing is this first WhatsApp group. IELTS speaking and listening free group. Um, Everybody can join there. And I will give high priority for paid class students in there every days. Sorry, every days they have uh, evening sessions, but this September month I have stopped these pre-sessions as I have some high number of individual classes this month, but most of the time they have individual classes. They have pre-classes that you can participate and cover some cue cards. That option is there. As you will join to the paid class, I will give high priority for you. As you can see, this is one old screenshot, but even that time also there were 675 number of members. Then you can understand within one day for one session how many members will be there. I cannot give chances for everyone. That is 1 hour of session, 4 to 5 every day. That is not, they don't have any relation with this class with that one. You may join with that one. You may be not join with that one. They don't have any affection. But if you will join whenever possible, you can gain some exam fluency and you can understand some cue card topics, and I will evaluate your cue cards as well. So that is something extra you will get as you will join to this class. And this is the middle one, our Telegram channel. They have actually two type of Telegram channel. This is the main one. This is including lot of PDF books, not only for speaking. They have PDF of writing, reading, listening, some supporting documents, even Cambridge book, Cambridge until Cambridge 19. So latest version, they have Cambridge book, Makage's books, and audio clips of your this listening tasks. All the things are there. You can easily go there and practice in there. Maybe you can even download in there. And there will have some separate Telegram group that I will share all of the class recordings. You will get every day's class recording with that Telegram group. You can go there simply and watch all the recordings if you will miss, or maybe if you require to watch back. Especially whenever we will do mock test, you have to watch back your own answers, evaluations. Then you can easily understand your own mistakes, because I will evaluate, I will show you mixed mistakes. Then you can cross check what I am saying and is there any actual mistake as I am explaining. Cross checking also will make you fluent or maybe improve your level. So that kind of options are there. Two type of Telegram groups. And this is the most important one. Very recently, I started this one, IELTS Speaking Aid VIP room. This is very recent one. Still they have 19 members, because I will tell you why they have only 90 members. This VIP room is not for everyone. This is for past students of our classes. Maybe 1 month class, maybe individual classes, whichever it is. Past students who is still working on IELTS exam. There may have, maybe you will join to the September class, but your plan is to face the exam maybe in December, maybe end of November, right? That kind of students are there. They just need to start their speaking as soon as possible. That's also really good option. Then I will not leave you behind after finish this 1 month class. You will be able to join it VIP group. There will have a lot of discussions. Starting actually, still I am in process of adding members. Um, so you will be able to join there and you will be able to practice. You will gain instant access for this one once after you join to this 1 month class. Then since then you can be in there and practice with me. That is free of charge. There will not have any charges for this VIP group. So this is like lifetime group. Whenever you will face to exam and whenever you will get your required band score, you can leave the group. Till that, you will be able to be in this VIP group and practice with me free of charge whenever they have practices. They will have a lot of practices, discussions, and I will share a lot of informations. As example, yesterday they were released this Makage's book, newer version released. So I shared all of the newer cue card questions to the VIP group so that students already knew what kind of newer questions are there in speaking test from yesterday, right? That kind of things are there in VIP group. This is free of charge for paid students. Okay, now this is about the course duration, 1 month, approximately 14 days. But this is 14 days of syllabus. Okay, don't misunderstand. In between these 14 days, they will have that extra practice sessions in pre-group. They will have practical sessions in VIP group, both groups, and they will have fluency enhancing sessions. I think I have mentioned here, and they will have group practices. Everything is extra. This is 14 days of syllabus. Okay, within syllabus, they have 14 days, which means 1 month. And timing and hours every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Why I have categorized or maybe scheduled this one in this time? Because most of the time they have nurses. I believe all of you doing some job, right? Maybe nurses, maybe office work, maybe in other government sector, maybe a teacher, whichever it is. I believe 8:30 might be the most preferable time for um, kind of people, because as you are doing some jobs you may be not able to join before 8:30. You require come back to your home, having some wash, maybe having your dinner, spending some time with your family, sort out all the problems, then leisurely you can sit into this class by 8:30. I cannot increase the time, like I cannot start this 9 p.m, then it will drag up to 11 o'clock. Then again, when it's reaching to 11 o'clock, most of students will be in sleepy mode. That's why I have applied or maybe scheduled this 8:30 to 10:30. But sometimes whenever we will have mock test, if I will not be able to cover evaluation within this 8:30 to 10:30, and if there will have only few remaining evaluations, I may continue until 11 o'clock. Likewise, it depends on mood of the students, but this is generally scheduled 8:30 to 10:30. Extra cue card practices, as I mentioned, in pre-group that you can participate. Whoever will be there, whichever number members will be there, it doesn't matter. If you will be in our paid classes, you will get the first chance in this pre-group as well. Practice in the VIP group, as I mentioned. Fluency enhancing sessions. They have fluency enhancing sessions as well, because why I have applied separate fluency enhancing sessions and practical sessions. Whenever you will practice on IELTS exam, IELTS speaking test type of questions, cue cards, part 1, part 3, you will enhance your fluency little bit, but not like general discussions or maybe day-to-day life discussions. You should have general discussions just to be fluent or maybe enhancing your fluency. That's why I have applied some separate fluency enhancing sessions time to time, and extra individual mock test before to your speaking test date. Okay, this is really crucial. Just assuming you will join this 1 month course in September batch and you will face to exam end of November. Just you have to let me know your speaking day, maybe free at 3 days, 4 days. You can explain, you can just inform me via WhatsApp. Then I will arrange one individual mock test for you to um, give some idea about your exam, because every time I will give predictions. until August end, I already given predictions for August batch members. They got all of the questions from the predictions. Likewise, I will give predictions. Within that predictions, you can easily give some higher or maybe you can give some extra focus for these predictions. So I will cover these predicted questions in this individual session, as well as I will give you one mock test just to enhancing your confidence on your actual exam, as well as make you fluent and understanding if they have any specific mistakes before you face to exam. So that individual mock test is really crucial. That is free of charge. As you joining to this 1 month course, you will get that chance as well. Lot of things, right? VIP group, pre-group, every day's practice, and one extra individual class, exam predictions, and as well as 14 days of theoretical session. Theoretical means syllabus type of session, but it's still these 14 days, not only theory, okay? They have only very few theories about speaking patterns, speaking tools, speaking practices, and some kind of tricks you can apply just to impress the examiner, and exam mindset up, psychology. They have exam psychology as well, how to perform good answers, how to impress the examiner. That is also important. That kind of theories are there. Apart from that, within these 14 days also, they will have 7 to 8 number of mock test practices. That also there. So a lot of things. For all of these, I am charging only 7,000. This is the course fee that we have determined mid of 2022, long time ago. So I will give this chance only in this September batch. Up to September, I continued this amount, but after September batch, this will be increased definitely, because you can understand 2022, mid of 2022, but still I am continuing this one. But now the problem is, most of other class teachers are asking, or maybe asking about course details when I'm sharing this advertisement, things are happening because of this course fee. Why I am conducting this all thing, or maybe why I am giving all of these things just for 7,000? Because I am aware, okay, I am aware in IELTS classes, they are range in between 15,000 or maybe 20,000 to 50,000. I have seen even some classes that they are requiring 50,000 rupee for joining 1 month of class. I have seen, maybe with their reputation, whichever it is, that is the normal range or maybe general range that you can find out for IELTS type of classes. But here only 7,000. The reason is actually I am not maintaining any physical buildings for classes. I don't do any physical classes. I am doing online classes, so I can reduce some amount from that. I am not having any liabilities of physical environment or maybe building, and I am doing online classes. And also I'm doing classes for very limited number of students, 15 number of students per batch. It means I have some time for individual classes as well. So this is the most reliable time for students as well as from myself. I cannot reduce this one. And if I will increase this one also, it will be problem in your side. So just check around. I think you have received a lot of other advertisement from other IELTS classes. Whenever you are typing, or maybe at least whenever you are talking about IELTS in your Facebook, you will get a lot of IELTS type of advertisement just like this one. Then you will understand what kind of course fees they will charge for you. But even though they will charge that much, you will not get this kind of benefits, because this is like after you finish your exam, or maybe after you finish this class,
Oh,
still.
Dante.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Okay. Then even though afterward, you can join with me, engage with me. You can see in that VIP group, there have students that from my previous classes. I am not leaving them behind. Still, I am teaching to them just to get their required band score. Likewise. So a lot of things are going on with this IELTS Speaking Aid 1 month course. Lot of benefits. Registration, they will have a registration form, simple Google form, which I am asking your IELTS requirement. Then I can have some better idea about what is your exact requirement and what kind of things I should do, or maybe what kind of syllabus I should individually craft for you by understanding your requirement. And this is just 7,000. In that case, I'm not asking for partial payments. You can simply do the payment 7,000 and share me the payment slip via WhatsApp. Then I will share you the registration form and I will include you into our WhatsApp group, initial WhatsApp group. Then all of other information will be shared in WhatsApp group. And one more benefit is there. I will tell you. Let me check. Today is, yes, today is 11. So coming Monday. No, today is Thursday. Okay, today is Thursday. Wait, let me check. No, today is Wednesday. Okay, fine. Today is Wednesday. Then coming Friday, 13th. Friday, they will have free mock test for whoever will register. Okay, because my plan is to start this 1 month course by 16. Then it will be Monday. So from today to 16, they have 5 days, including 16, they have 5 days that you can register to the class. But still, now students are joining. Already 2 members have joined to the class. It means they have only 13 seats. So you can occupy or maybe you can reserve your seat by registering to the class. Then if you register before day after tomorrow, Friday, you will be able to participate into that free mock test as well. Free means mock test for already registered members. Within that mock test, you will be able to understand your current level with the evaluation, your current band score. Because I will do that mock test, I will give you that mock test without teaching anything. Generally, we will be able to understand your current level and I will give some suggestions before starting the class. So it's really good if you can participate into that mock test as well. Anyhow, this course will start by 16, as I mentioned, from 16 to 1 month. Not from today to 1 month, 16 to 1 month, they will have the class. And if you have any further queries, you can call me via WhatsApp or maybe you can ask me via messages. Then I will explain you or maybe I will give answers for all of your questions. Whoever will require to join, I just ask me, I will share the payment details. And within that group, anyhow, I will share payment details maybe by sharing this recording. Maybe tomorrow morning, I will share payment details into the group with this recording as well. There I have a lot of members that couldn't able to join to this class asking me the recording. Then I will share this recording within that with that payment details. But whoever required to get registered, maybe today, you can ask me the payment details. Okay. They have individual class option as well. If you require to join in individual classes that you not feel good with join these group classes, or maybe if you have any difficulties join with this timing, then you can go with individual classes. Or maybe if you already have booked your exam and exam days is coming ahead, if you don't have 1 month of time to practice, then you can go with this individual class option as well. 1500 per session in individual class. I will teach you. First day and second day, they will have 1.5 hour session because I have to cover basics to you, not only mock test. First day and second day, they will have basic theories that you require to know before participate into mock test. But within that 2 days also, they will have mock test. Then after, they will have mock test and its evaluation. That's how individual classes will go in on. Individual classes also really good for fast tracking your speaking level. Okay. Now this is for members or maybe students who already have faced the exam and couldn't able to get your required band score. This is not valid for new members. This is for already faced the exam, that kind of members. Continued practice is must. That is applicable for everyone anyhow. You should practice continually. Even though if you will join to the class, if not even though if you will do self-studies, you have to practice continuously just to be fluent, just to understand the patterns and just to gain your confident as well. Confident also really required. Be familiar with the exam requirements that band descriptor generally, but apart from that, they have some other requirements as well. Just you require to understand in order to get your required band score or maybe getting higher band score. Learn from listening to yourself. Always, whenever you are doing self studies, whenever you are delivering answers for mock test or cue card, whichever it is, just make it a habit to record yourself, record your answers. Then leisurely you can play back your recording. While playing back, you will understand a lot of mistakes that you cannot understand while you are performing. You will understand your grammar mistakes, pronunciation issues, lack of vocabulary issues, whichever it is, you will understand. So listening to yourself also is required in order to be fluent, in order to rectify your mistakes. Mock tests are the real deal. So if you will join to the class, you don't need to worry. They will have a lot of mock test with me and a lot of other mock test as group members. A lot of things will going on. But if you will not join to the class, then you have to find someone for doing mock test. Doing mock test yourself, it's not working actually. To mock test, you should have someone. Someone should ask questions as the examiner. Then only you can perform naturally. Otherwise, it's really hard to do mock test by yourself. Anyhow, you have to find someone. Listen often. This is actually not listening to yourself. Listen to English often. Listen and watching. If you have enough time to watch movies or something, don't watch Sinhala or Bollywood movies. Just try to watch English movies, especially having that British accent and all. And whenever you are listening to songs, try to listen some English songs. Then you will be able to understand some grammar structure, or maybe you will be familiar with the accent. So a lot of benefits are there by listening to others. Stay motivated. So you have to keep your motivation. This is mostly I'm telling for students who already have faced the exam and couldn't able to get your required band score. Once you face the exam, and if you face that kind of situation that you couldn't able to get your required band score, you may be little bit of demotivated now, because you have consumed your time just to practice in your previous attempt. You have consumed your time. It's a lot of money, right? You have consumed your money as well. So it's like waste of time and money. And now again, you have to do that. So you have to keep your motivation. Sometimes it's not easy for us to find out the proper part for gaining our required band score in the first attempt. So maybe that might be one experience of your life, just to be fluent, or maybe just to get your required band score in your IELTS exam. So take it as one experience and don't worry about your previous attempt. Just be prepared with this attempt. But even though afterward this attempt, if you will again have to do the exam, then that is one problem. You should gain your required band score in your next attempt. It doesn't matter whether it's your first attempt, second attempt, third attempt. As you know these things right now, you will not be you if you will again fail your speaking test after today, after listening to this one, then they have one issue with you. So keep your motivation, start practice, and gain your required band score. Okay, that's about the class. That's about everything. Now let's see some new questions which yesterday released to the exam. Okay, they have a lot of questions. Actually, around 80 number of new questions were there. I have applied here only three. Others we will learn in the class. You can see these are brand new questions. Okay, the first one you can see, describe a person you know who has chosen a career in the medical field. This kind of question actually wasn't there in years. I never have seen this kind of question in IELTS exam, especially asking about medical field, doctors and nurses. Maybe due to high demand of nurses, they may have applied this one. Anyhow, really good one. Describe a person you know who has chosen a career in the medical field. This might be really easy for you, right? If you are a nurse, definitely you can explain about to your coworker, your friend. But still for this one also, you should have some idea what we can do. Describe a person. We have to describe one person. You know, that should be some familiar person to us who has chosen a career in the medical field. So that should be maybe a nurse, maybe a doctor, maybe MLD, whichever it is in medical field. Now you have to explain this person, but still you have to highlight that this decision, that she or he have taken the decision to go with medical field, and what kind of success that person have gained up to now. That should be covered in these 2 minutes. That's how we should arrange our keywords or maybe ideas just to cover this answer. In our class, actually, we will discuss about these things more extract way, because we have to apply some idiomatic phrases, high level of vocabulary. We have to keep good grammar pattern for this one. So all of things we will discuss in the class, but I just wanted you to know these kind of newer questions also they are in IELTS exam in this current version starting September 1st. Second one, describe a time when you lost an important and valuable item. This is also newer question, but not exactly. In previous version also there were some questions about losing item, losing things, or maybe picking up some item by someone else lost. Kind of questions were there. But here, exactly this one quite different. Describe a time when you lost an important and valuable item. So earlier version, they ask about picking up some valuable item lost by someone else. Here it's asking something we have lost. So we should have some good idea for this one. Maybe our keys, our wallet, our mobile phone, or maybe some memorable item, whichever it is. Losing means maybe robbed by someone else, or maybe steal by someone else, or maybe unattended and we couldn't able to find out. Whichever it is, you should have some good idea. It's always better to have real life experience, real life ideas for these kind of questions. Then you don't need to worry about generating ideas. You can simply explain your realistic answer. Okay, one more I have applied here. Describe a time when you answered a phone call from someone you didn't know in a public place. This is also a very new question which released yesterday. There were some questions about mobile calls but earlier, but this one quite different. Describe a time when you answered a phone call from someone you didn't know in a public place. Okay, it's quite messy, right? We should have answered one call in a public place that we don't know. Quite coincident. But still we have to explain. But assuming you don't have that kind of experience, then simply you can tell to examiner that I don't have this kind of experience, but this is one possibility that everyone can face. Something like that. You can generate some general idea as well. Okay. This is I have applied only 3 of newer questions, but they have rest of more questions. All around 18 number of questions as I remember were there in newer version. We will discuss these newer questions as well as other possible questions which will come in September to December quarter. Okay. In our class, we will cover September to December quarter. We will practice on these updated newly questions. That's how our speaking class will going on. Okay. I have talked a lot. It's almost 10 past 6. My plan was to finish this by 10 o'clock. 6 minutes late now. Now it's your time. You can ask me any questions. සිංහලෙන් වුණත් අහන්න පුළුවන්. මෙච්චරලා ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් මම කතා කරේ. ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් අහන්නත් පුළුවන්, සිංහලෙන් අහන්නත් පුළුවන්. Any question regarding the class or maybe regarding speaking test, anything. It doesn't matter you will face in exam in academic or general. Structure is same for speaking, okay? ඒකත් කියන්න ඕනේ speaking වලට ඔය academic ද කරන්නේ general ද කරන්නේ කියලා අදාළ නැහැ. Speaking structure එක එකයි. අපිට එක group එකක් විදිහට practice කරන්න පුළුවන්. Any questions? Verbally අහන්නත් පුළුවන්, chat එකේ දාන්නත් පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් මම තා විනාඩියකින් questions නැත්නම් session එක wind up කරනවා. කොහොමනත් මේකේ recording එක මම group එකට upload කරනවා හෙට. ඒකත් එක්කම payment details කියව වගේම upload කරනවා. කැමති කෙනෙක්ට join වෙන්න පුළුවන්. 15 දෙනාගෙන් දෙන්නෙක් join වෙලා ඉන්නේ දැනටම. එතකොට 13 දෙනෙක්ට chance එක තියෙනවා. 16 වෙනි වෙනකල් join වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අන්තිම වෙනකල් ඉන්න එපා. මොකද 16 මේ 15 පිරුණාට පස්සේ මම registration close කරනවා. message එකක් එයි. ඊට පස්සේ join වෙන්න වෙන්නේ අහපව ඔක්තෝබර් batch එකට. ඔක්තෝබර් batch එකේ කීවා වගේ course fee එක ටිකක් වැඩි වෙනවා සහ අනිත් එක තමයි ඔයාලා එක්සෑම් එකට ෆේස් කරන්න ඉන්නේ ඔක්තෝබර්ද සැප්තැම්බර්ද නොවැම්බර්ද දෙසැම්බර්ද අදාළ නැහැ. ස්පීකින් වලට ඔයාට අන්තිම මොහොතේ ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරලා ඔයාගේ ෆ්ලුවෙන්සි එක හදාගන්න. නැත්නම් අඩුපාඩු තියෙනවා නම් ඒවා හදාගන්න බෑ. මම හැමදාම මේ ප්‍රීසෙෂන් වල කියන දෙයක්. ඔයා හිතන්න ඔයාගේ රික්වයර්මන්ට් එක බෑන්ඩ් ස්කෝර් 6.5. ඔයා දන්නේ නැහැ සමහරට ඔයා දැන් ඉන්නේ බෑන්ඩ් ස්කෝර් 5 වල. එතකොට බෑන්ඩ් ස්කෝර් එකමාරක්ම තව ඉස්සරහට යන්න ඕනි. ওই ටික දවසින් දෙකකින් හදාගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හිතනවාද? එහෙම බෑ. එතකොට මේ තියරි ටික, පැටර්න්ස් ටික, මේ ඇප්ලයි කරන්න පුළුවන් ටූල්ස් ටික මේ එක්සෑම් එකේ අපි එක්සෑම් ඉස්සරහා කොහොමද ෆේස් කරන්න ඕනි? එතකොට අපි හිර වෙන තැන්වලදී මොන වගේ දේවල්ද කරන්න ඕනි? ඔය කියන ඔක්කොම ටික දැන් ඉස්සෙල්ලාම කලින්ම මේ සැප්තැම්බර් පැජ් එකෙන්ම කවර් කරගත්තට පස්සේ මම මේකෙම කිව්වනේ මේකෙම මම ඔයාලා පුරුදු කරනවා self study කරන්නත්. එතකොට VIP group එකේ දිගටම practice වෙන ගම ඔයාලට self study කරන්න පුළුවන් group එකක් විදිහට group එකේ අනිත් members ලාත් එක්ක practice කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඔන්න ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාලට අර හදාගත්තු ටික ඉම්ප්‍රූව් කරගෙන ඔයාලා එක්සෑම් ඩේට් එක වෙනකල් යන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් සැප්තැම්බර් එකට ජොයින් වෙන්නේ නැහැ මම ඔක්තෝබර් එකට එනවා කියලා හිටියොත් සමහරට ඔක්තෝබර් to ඔයාගේ එක්සෑම් ඩේට් එක කියන අතර කාලේ ඔයාට මදි වෙන්න පුළුවන් අඩුපාඩු ටික හදාගන්න. ඒක නිසා පුළුවන් ඉක්මනට ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරන්න පටන් ගන්න. මම කියන්නේ ක්ලාස් එකට ජොයින් වෙන්න නෙමෙයි ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරන්න පටන් ගන්න කොහෙන් ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරා. Any questions? Fine. එහෙනම් මම සෙෂන් එක මෙතනින් නවත්තනවා. කැමති කට්ටිය මෙසේජස් දාන්න ජොයින් වෙන්න. අපි 16 වෙනිදා ක්ලාස් එක පටන් ගන්නවා. එදා ඉඳන් එක දිගට මේ ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන් අපිට. ඔයාලගේ ලෙවල් එක මොකක් වුණත් ක්ලාස් එකට ජොයින් වෙලා ඔයාලට ඕන රික්වයර්මන්ට් එකට යන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ක්ලාස් එකේ හෝම්වර්ක්ස් තියෙනවා, ප්‍රැක්ටිකල්ස් තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒවට එන්ගේජ් වෙන්න ඕනි. ජොබ් කරන අය තමයි ඉන්නේ. බය වෙන්න එපා ජොබ් කරද්දී ටයිම් නැති වෙද්දී ඒවටත් ෂෙඩියුල් කරගෙන අපි කොහොම හරි කරන්නේ ක්ලාසස් වල. මොකද ජොබ් නොකරන අය ක්ලාසස් වලට එන්නේ නැහැ. ස්ටඩි මයිග්‍රේෂන් වලට යන ළමෙක් ආවොත් ඇරෙන්න, කැම්පස් ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස් කෙනෙක් ආවොත් ඇරෙන්න 80%ක් විතර ක්ලාසස් වලට එන්නෙම ජොබ් කරන අය. ඒකෙනුත් 70%ක් 80%ක් මර 80 වෙනුත් 80%ක් විතර එන්නෙම නර්සස්ලා. එතකොට ෂිෆ්ට් එකත් එක්ක සමහරලාට අමාරුයි. ඒවත් එක්ක බැලන්ස් කරගෙන ක්ලාස් එක කරගෙන යන්න ඕනි. ඒක නිසා ඒවත් අපි කතා කරලා කරගමු කොහොමද ටයිමින්. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාලට මිස් වෙන දවස් වලට මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේ දේවලුත් තියෙනවා. ඒවත් එක්ක ක්ලාස් එක කරගෙන යමු. එහෙමනම් ලීව් වෙන්නේ නැතුව මෙච්චරලා අහගෙන හිටියට හැමෝටම ගොඩක් ස්තුතියි. අපි ඊළඟට ක්ලාස් එකෙන් හම්බෙමු. මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් සෙෂන් එකෙන් පස්සේ WhatsApp වලින් මට කෝල් කරන්න. normal කෝල් ගත්තොත් ඒ නම්බර් එකම WhatsApp වලටම ඩෙඩිකේට් කරලා තියෙන්නේ මේ ක්ලාස් එකේ නම්බර් එක. මොකද නැත්නම් අහපොව කෝල්ස් එද්දි කවුද කතා කරේ කියලා මට හොයන්න බැරි නිසා WhatsApp කෝල් එකක් දාන්න මොන හරි ඉෂුව එකක් තියෙනවා නම් තව වැඩිදුරටත් දැනගන්න. එහෙනම් හැමෝටම good night.